When a football program makes a habit of annually winning 9 to 11 games, challenging for the conference title, and playing in major bowl games, it's hard to distinguish one season from another. Each and every one of Bill Snyder's 9 seasons as head coach of the Kansas State Wildcats has been special. During that time, the K-State program has been nationally recognized for orchestrating the greatest turnaround in college football history. The Wildcats are now one of only 6 football programs in the nation to win at least 9 games in each of the past 5 seasons. Only Florida State, Florida, Nebraska, Penn State, and Ohio State can also make that claim. During that 5-year run, the Cats have been ranked in the top 25 for 51 consecutive weeks, and in 76 of the last 80 top 25 polls, that extending back to 1993. Those numbers tell the story how K-State has firmly entrenched itself as a perennial college football powerhouse. But in 1997, this group distinguished itself from the pack. This group took the next step in a quest for a championship, earning its right to be called the best football team in Kansas State history. Coming off the 1996 Cotton Bowl appearance, K-State found itself in a familiar spot entering the 1997 season, ranked in the preseason top 25. But first, a few questions needed to be answered if the Cats were going to challenge for another major bowl appearance in 1997. For the third time in 3 years, the Cats would be calling upon a new starting quarterback. The defense had to replace 7 starters, including all 4 members of what was considered the nation's best secondary. And the kicking game was awaiting the return of Martin Gramatica, who had sat out the 1996 season following major knee surgery. Still, the Purples were full of promise and potential. And on September the 6th in DeKalb, Illinois, the 1997 K-State Wildcats went to work. Well, it didn't take long for junior quarterback Michael Bishop to ease any concerns at that position. In his first Division I football game, Bishop completed 8 of 11 passes for 172 yards and a K-State record 4 touchdowns. He also carried 8 times for 98 yards and another score. And that was just in the first half. It's a shotgun formation for Michael Bishop on 3rd and 8. Back to throw. Bishop's now going to step up and run. Eludes one tackler, cuts to the outside to the 40. Bishop 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Michael Bishop. It is a 43-yard touchdown run for Michael Bishop around right end. Michael, welcome to Manhattan. It's 6-0 K-State. The Northern Illinois game was also a coming-out party for tight end Justin Swift. Junior from Overland Park, emerged as one of the Big 12's best tight ends in '97 and started the year with touchdown catches of 18 and 8 yards.
It was a great way to start the year, 2 touchdowns in a game. Darnell had 3, but 2 for a tight end especially. I think that's a big deal for me because I hadn't caught a touchdown pass in my career yet here. So I thought that was a great way to start the season off.
This game also marked the successful return of star running back Eric Hickson. After missing the entire 1996 season with a knee injury, Hickson made his return in style on this 65-yard touchdown burst to put the Cats up 42-7 at the half. The second half belonged to the K-State defense, which limited the Huskies to 11 first downs and only 162 yards. The aggressive, hard-hitting Wildcats forced 3 fumbles and capped the scoring midway through the fourth quarter with this safety by Andre Rowe. K-State rolls in the season opener 47-7. The '97 Cats open the home season the next week against Ohio, and the Wildcats were greeted by yet another sold-out crowd at KSU Stadium. Any concerns about the kicking game were quickly alleviated in Game 2. Less than 3 minutes into the home opener against Ohio, Lamar Chapman set sail on this 94-yard punt return. Chapman back at his 6, pulls it in. Needs a block, gets one, goes to the 10, 15, 20. Lamar to the 30-yard line, 35. Dukes gets by the punter, midfield, 40. He's going to go 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Kansas State. It's a 94-yard punt return by Lamar Chapman, and the Wildcats lead it 6-0.
It was my second time, doing a punt return for the year. It was the second game of the season. And when he kicked the ball, I was just pretty much thinking about just catching the ball, getting up the field. Then when I seen the hole and I just ran. I ran for daylight. It was a big opening, and I just ran and scored a touchdown.
Meanwhile, kicker Martin Gramatica began his All-America season in style by booting 3 field goals in the victory, including kicks of 52 and 55 yards. His 55-yarder tied the Big 12 record, and he became the first Wildcat to make 2 field goals from more than 50 yards in the same game. This game also included a spectacular offensive play that made all the highlight reels. Bishop gets the snap. He's rolling in the pocket. He's being hit, and he's going to go. Now he's still on his feet. Gets away from the 2 defenders, rolls to the near side. Now he's going to launch the ball downfield. His throw, Gavin Parise. It's a jump ball situation. Parise makes the catch inside the 5, at the 3, and it's a first down for Kansas State. That is unbelievable. That is so reminiscent of the play in the Cotton Bowl as Gavin Parise pulls it in. It's a 39-yard pass from Bishop to Parise, and the Cats have first and goal at the 3.
Bishop scrambling around. It seemed like a couple minutes. I was out there, trying to find someone to block. I found myself halfway across the field from where Bishop was, and I looked over and he still had the ball. So I was trying to wave him over to, towards my direction so I could get a good shot on somebody. And before I knew it, I looked up and he just launched the ball out, and Gavin made a tremendous catch. And that's a play that'll stick out in my mind for a long time.
The Wildcats held a comfortable 23-0 lead at halftime, but the upstart Bobcats rallied in the second half to make this one look close. Junior linebacker Travis Oakes ended any thoughts of an Ohio upset with this interception in the final minutes. The Wildcats completed a perfect 3-0 non-conference season with a 58-0 shutout of Bowling Green. It was a long day for the men in orange as K-State held the Falcons to 56 yards and -9 yards on the ground. Snyder takes a snap, quarterback draw. He was trying to throw a shovel pass, and K-State just buries him. Ball to the 32. Snyder running the option, pitches it back to Hollis. He gets cracked and stopped. This game saw the emergence of linebacker Jeff Kelly, who served notice that he would become a dominant player at the Division I level with 3 sacks. 8:49 left third quarter. Play action fake, Snyder back. Gets hit, Kelly brings him down. Jeff Kelly with a sack back at the 10-yard line, a loss at 10 on the play.
Played Bowling Green. I had like 2 sacks or 3 sacks, and I really felt comfortable playing, and ever since then, it just ticked. I think our next game was maybe a couple of games was Nebraska, and I just felt comfortable with all the adjustments and everything that was taking place.
On offense, the Wildcats rolled up a school record 638 yards. Running back Eric Hickson showed his return from off-season knee surgery was complete as he rushed for a career-high 163 yards. K-State finished the non-conference season undefeated for the 5th year in a row, setting up an early season showdown, which would eventually determine the Big 12 champion. K-State looked impressive on its opening drive and stayed with Nebraska for a half before the Huskers used 3 big plays in the third quarter to break free. Although the game ended with a disappointing 56-26 loss, quarterback Michael Bishop came of age in this one setting the stage for the Wildcats' victory run through the rest of the league.
Even though we lost the game, in the back of my mind, I felt like, we could have done a lot of things different. We could have been right there with them until the end. And, I feel like anybody can beat Nebraska if they come in with the fact, knowing that they can win and not giving up, at any certain point in time. And I feel like, like I said, I hate to lose, but it was just something that happened. And from that point on, I think everybody came together and realized that we have a good team. If we don't make mistakes, can't nobody stop us but ourselves.
A 41-11 blistering of Missouri came as expected the next week. But my, how impressive this 30-point win would look at season's end. The bull-bound Tigers were the surprise of the Big 12 in 1997, but not on this day.
On the week that we played Missouri, everybody was talking about Missouri this, Missouri that. And I think most everybody in Missouri felt like they can come in, to our own house and beat us. We had our minds made up the whole week that, we just came off a big loss and that hurt the team. So it was time for us to make a statement. And everybody worked hard that week and we came out and got the job done. Everybody was doing their jobs and just playing together, playing team ball.
K-State's running attack, which would carry the Wildcat offense for much of the conference season, came into full bloom against the Tigers. K-State's powerful offensive line pounded the helpless Tigers as the Cats ran for 339 yards and 4 touchdowns.
I think it helped out the offense in general. Anytime you're one-dimensional, it really hurts. This year we were able to run the ball when we needed to and throw the ball as well. And if you're able to do both, it can help out your offense tremendously.
Michael Bishop did much of the damage with a K-State quarterback record, 196 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. First and 10 for the 43, quarterback draw for Bishop. Up the middle, Bishop 45, midfield, Bishop 25, down to the 40, breaks a tackle, 35, 30, 25, 20, down to the 17-yard line. Michael Bishop tiptoed the sideline. 4th down and a yard and a half from the Missouri 8. Offset eye behind Bishop. They run the option play. Bishop steps in. 5. Bishop goes in for 6 points. Michael Bishop, a 7-yard touchdown run, and Kansas State leads 13-3. Bishop in the shotgun. Quarterback draw this time for Michael. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. Finds some room. 35, 30. Michael 25. Still on his feet. 20, 15, 10, 5. Down to the 1-yard line. What a run for Michael Bishop. Down to the Missouri 1-yard line. It's a 38-yard scamper by the Wildcat quarterback. This contest was billed as a battle between the Big 12's top 2 quarterbacks. But the K-State defense would have plenty to say about that. K-State harassed MU quarterback Corby Jones all day and held the Tigers' powerful running game to 138 yards, 150 under their season average.
Corby Jones is a guy that it's hard to shut down. Very few teams have did it. We did a pretty good job of it this year, and you can just hope to contain a guy like that. And defensively, we stepped up, after a disappointing loss at Nebraska, and played well versus Missouri.
Long count by the Tiger signal caller. Runs the option play to the near side, steps back. K-State hits him, brings him down at the 1. Corby does not get in. It's 4th and goal for Mizzou at the Cat 1. K-State tops Missouri for the 5th season in a row, 41-11. The win over Missouri set up a much-anticipated matchup against 14th-ranked Texas A&M. The Aggies were set on avenging a 23-20 loss to K-State in 1996. It wasn't even close. K-State's defense may have never played better against an offensive unit that came into the game ranked 1st in the nation in scoring offense, 5th in rushing, and 14th in total offense. The Wildcat defense was suffocating. High formation for the Aggies at their own 16-yard line. Brandon Stewart turns, play action fake back in the pocket. K-State's coming on a rush, and they got him at the 5. Darren Howard leaped into the air and then came down on that A&M quarterback. 2nd and 11, again a staggered set. Two wide receivers set to the near side. They turn and hand it off to Parker, who's buried in the backfield. K-State smothers the play back at the 25-yard line, a loss of 5. 3rd down and 15 for the Aggies. Ball at their own 26. Stewart rolls the pocket to the near side. Being chased, gets hit, goes down at the 13-yard line. Again, it was Jeff Kelly, that middle linebacker of the Wildcats. Crowd still roaring here with 1:51 left. McGowan back in the pocket. Sets, being rushed, gets hit, goes down at the 6-yard line. K-State sacks him. Again, it's Jeff Kelly coming through there from that middle linebacker spot. K-State held A&M to minus 35 yards rushing, 4 first downs, and only 90 yards of total offense. A staggering 350 yards below its season average.
Texas A&M, I had a really good game, and because I kind of held that game personal because I have like a lot of alumni in my town where I'm from, and a lot of friends that go to A&M, and you know, they were emailing me, we're gonna get you here, but you know, it was a really big game. Everybody was watching, so it was fun.
Meanwhile, the K-State offense piled up 420 yards and blew the game open with second half touchdown drives of 80, 77, and 73 yards. Michael with the long count. On 2nd and goal, turns back to pass, looking, sets, now he's going to run with a football. Bishop to the 10, to the 5, goes up, over, touchdown, Kansas State! Michael Bishop leaped over the pile at the 2, and the Wildcats grab the early lead. They lead 6-0 on Texas A&M. I formation behind Bishop on 1st and 10 for the 46. Bishop, play action fake, back in the pocket, has time, sets, guns the ball downfield. Darnell McDonald makes a catch at the A&M 25. Still trying to elude a couple of Aggies, and it gets brought down at the 25. Brandon Jennings pulls him in. It's a 29-yard gain. 2nd and 2 from the 7. An I formation again behind Bishop. Turns, hands it off to Mike Lawrence off the right side. Lawrence to the 5. Lawrence goes in, touchdown! Kansas State! Mike Lawrence, a 7-yard TD for the Wildcats, and Kansas State now leads 22-10. An I formation behind Bishop. Wide receivers set left and right. Run the option play. Pitch it back to Lawrence. Mike gets to the 30. Gets the first down. 35, 40. Lawrence 45. Midfield. 45. Angled out of bounds at about the 44-yard line of Texas A&M. Twins to the far side. One wide receiver set to the near side. That's Parise. They turn. Play action fake. Actually handed off out of the draw to Hickson. Hickson down to the 15. Hickson to the 10. 5. Eric Hickson. Touchdown Kansas State. It's a 20-yard touchdown run by Eric Hickson. And the Wildcats lead now 29-17. That was the 12th penalty of the day on K-State. Play action fake for Bishop. Sets, throws, gets nailed after letting go the ball. But Gavin Parise makes a catch. 25, 20, 15-yard line. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds at the 18. 2 minutes left in the game. Kansas State 29, A&M 17. 2nd and goal from the 3. I formation behind Bishop. Hands it off to Goolsby down to the 1. And Goolsby's in for 6 points. Kansas State now leads 35-17. Brian Goolsby goes in for 6 points. Final score, Cats 36, Aggies 17. Only 3 teams in college football history have defeated Oklahoma 5 times in a row, and the Wildcats owned the Sooners again in 1997. K-State's punt return unit stunned the Sooners early. This picture-perfect 95-yard punt return by David Allen was called back on a penalty, and the 2 teams ended the first quarter scoreless at a windswept Owen Field. The Purple offense got rolling in the second quarter, and the Wildcats took a 10-0 lead on this 1-yard run by Michael Bishop. The Sooners answered with an impressive drive before halftime. Sooners drove all the way to the K-State 3, but went to the locker room scoreless. 3rd down and goal from the 3-yard line. For Oklahoma, Moore at quarterback. Back in the pocket, looking, still looking, now being rushed, eludes one Wildcat, still rolling, still on his feet. He gets hit and brought down by Damian McIntosh at the 19-yard line. And to fumble the football, and K-State gets it with 7 seconds left in this first half.
They were driving down the field, and I knew somebody had to make a play. I was trying to get there, and I tried to get to the quarterback, and I missed him, and it bought time for somebody else to get there. Damian McIntosh got there, made him cause a fumble, and I just happened to be there to get on the ball. So
the Sooners trimmed the lead to 10-7 early in the third quarter, but K-State answered with touchdown drives of 47 and 80 yards to seize control in the second half.
For Kansas State, 1st and 10 of the 19. They hand it off to Eric Hickson. Eric to the 15. Eric to the 10. Cuts back. Down to the 5. Inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. Turns. Hands it off. Hickson off the right side. Eric gets hit. Drives toward the goal line. He goes in for 6 points. Eric Hickson, a touchdown for Kansas State. They hand it off Mike Lawrence. 25. Lawrence 20. 15. 10. 5. Mike Lawrence down to the 1-yard line. 1st and goal for Kansas State. Hickson the one back. Bishop sets. Throws. Pass out in the flat. Wide open is Darnell McDonald. And Kansas State scores 6 more points.
The vaunted Sooner rushing attack was stuffed for 124 yards on 52 carries. All-conference defensive end Darren Howard led the Wildcat defense with 2 fumble recoveries, and he was pleased with the victory.
Through the years, Oklahoma's fans, they just don't give us respect, and I think it's important for us to go down there or them come up here and just show them that we're the dominant team and just keep doing that every year.
Michael Bishop engineered a balanced offense with 158 passing yards. While Eric Hickson led the ground attack with 82 yards and a touchdown. Final score, K-State 26, Oklahoma 7. The Wildcats survived to scare the following week, but pulled out yet another road victory with a 13-2 triumph at Texas Tech. It looked like the Cats had taken an early lead on this perfect 80-yard touchdown pass from Jonathan Beasley to Gavin Parise, but the play was called back on a holding penalty. On the very next play, Beasley was flagged for intentional grounding in the end zone. The safety gave the Red Raiders a tenuous 2-0 lead. K-State took the momentum into halftime when Michael Bishop hooked up with junior Darnell McDonald.
3rd and 13 now for K-State at the 23 and I formation behind Bishop. Takes a snap, back in the pocket, sets, lofts a pass toward the end zone. Darnell McDonald makes a catch. Touchdown, Kansas State! What a grab by Darnell McDonald! It was the fade route to the pylon, and McDonald makes the catch. A beautiful pass by Bishop, 23 yards on the play.
An interception deep in K-State territory gave Tech a chance for the lead in the fourth quarter.
Bishop in a shotgun, 3-2. They get the snap off. Here comes the rush. It's a screen pass. It's picked off by Tech inside the 5-yard line. Tech has the football inside the 5. Monte Reger intercepted the pass.
But the Cat defense responded with maybe the biggest play of the year.
2nd and goal from the 1. Williams the one back behind Lethridge. Takes a snap, keeps it, dives, goes up, fumbles the football. It's loose. Kansas State has recovered in the end zone, and the Wildcats have recovered the fumble in the end zone. Lamar Chapman jumped on the football, and the Cats get it at the goal line, and they'll move it out to the 20-yard line. There's the first turnover of the day, and the Cats take advantage.
Xavier Lethridge tried to dive over, and Jeff Kelly, I think, hit him with the ball, and I was just standing there, and I seen it pop out, and I just dove on it, and the referee seen the ball pop out, and he gave it to us after that. You know, I felt pretty good about it, you know. And the offense was back out there, and they ran the clock out, so I thought that was a big play for us this year.
Beasley put the final nail in the Tech coffin with this 33-yard run in the final minutes.
Beasley in there for his 2nd straight series. Quarterback draw for Beasley. Cuts to the outside. Jonathan angles 30, 25, Jonathan 20, 15, 10, 5. Jonathan Beasley, touchdown Kansas State. Jonathan Beasley with a 33-yard touchdown run for the Wildcats, and they expand their lead to 12-2 with 3:05 left in the game.
Coach called like an ISO play, and Goolsby set up the block, and I mean the lineman caved everybody inside, and I was able to pop outside. Then I got great blocks downfield from Gavin and Darnell. I mean, they cut their guys, and it was just smooth sailing into the end zone.
K-State survives in Lubbock 13-2. K-State brought a 7-1 record into its annual matchup with Kansas and left no doubt who controls bragging rights in the state for the 5th year in a row. It was a near flawless performance by the Purple offense, defense, and special teams, as all three units contributed touchdowns in a game full of spectacular plays.
Twins to the far side. Bishop at a shotgun on 1st down and 10. Michael back in the pocket. Sets, looks, throws a deep bat pattern. Gavin Parise catch 5-yard line. Gavin Parise is in for a touchdown. Kansas State, a 28-yard strike. Bishop to Gavin Parise. It's his first career touchdown catch. Bishop at a shotgun on 3rd and 8 from the Cat 37. Takes a snap, back in the pocket. Michael looks, rolling, guns the ball downfield, has a man down there. McDonald makes a catch. 10-5. McDonald touchdown, Kansas State. Unbelievable throw by Michael Bishop. That ball must have gone 70 yards in the air. It's a 63-yard touchdown toss, and the Cats lead 13-0.
Now when I was a decoy route, I was just supposed to run off the corner so Gavin Parise can get the flag route to the corner. And when I was running, after I made my release move, I realized that, I had a couple steps on him. And, I looked back and Mike was looking at me and I was like, yes, throw it, And he made a perfect pass on the run. I think it was about 60 yards in the air, and I went to catch it, made the catch, and had to break my tackle at the 5 to get into the end zone. And it's real good to score against KU, with all the fans there and everything. And after the game, all the Kansas fans giving you high fives and stuff. It felt real good.
Garcia has it teed up at the 35. The approach of the kick headed toward Gerald Niesman. He'll take it at about the 2. Niesman up to the 10. 15 to the 20, sidesteps the defender, 25, 30, Niesman 35, 40, 45, 50, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Kansas State, no flags, this baby's gonna count. It's now 20-9, K-State, a 98-yard kickoff return by Gerald Niesman.
A 21-yard Martin Gramatica field goal just before the gun gave K-State a 24-9 halftime lead and set the stage for a sensational second half. KU went 3 and out on the opening possession of the second half, and it took the Wildcats all of 34 seconds to light up the scoreboard.
Gene Royal be his 5th punt of the day, only averaging 36 yards a kick, booms it away. That's a good kick. David Allen backed it around at 30 to catch it. Upfield goes Allen, 35, 40, has a hole, 50, 45, angles trying to get around Royal, does, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Kansas State, their second special teams touchdown of the day, and the Wildcats have blown this one open. They lead 30-9.
The fireworks continued with a 16-yard scoring play from Bishop to Parise. And then it was Niesman again with a score for the defense.
Kansas 1st and 10 from their own 36. Wagner back in the pocket to throw. Throws one out in the flat. Pass picked off. Gerald Niesman. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Kansas State. They pick off the Wagner pass, and now they did 47-9.
In the last 3 years, the Wildcats have now outscored the Jayhawks 127-35, an average winning margin of 42-12. In '97, the Sunflower Showdown is painted purple again, 48-16. Longtime nemesis Colorado appeared to be the last major obstacle between Kansas State and a shot at an Alliance Bowl bid. The Cats hadn't beaten Colorado since 1984, but in 1997, the buff stopped here. The 3rd largest crowd in KSU Stadium history braved a wind chill in the teens, but it seemed a lot warmer by halftime as K-State scored 3 second-quarter touchdowns to take a 27-6 halftime lead.
2nd and goal from the 3 and I formation behind Bishop. Turns, hands off, Hickson left side. Eric down to the goal line, in for a touchdown. Eric Hickson cracks the goal line. Gavin Parise in motion to the near side. Now you have twins to the near side for Kansas State. One back, Lawrence behind Bishop. Play action fake for Michael. Sets, looks, throws the ball downfield. Pass is caught. Justin Swift, 10-5, touchdown Kansas State. Justin Swift outfought a Buffalo with the 10 for the ball and then goes in for 6 points.
The 3rd and goal from the 32. And it's basically just a 4 vertical scheme, and I went up the middle. I ended up beating the linebacker, and Mike threw the ball up pretty much up for grab, and I jumped up, got in the free safety, ended up hitting me and knocking me probably back onto my feet, and I ended up making another move and getting into the end zone.
Second and goal, Goolsby's the eye back, gets the handoff, plows his way toward the goal line, and he's in for 6 points. Brian Goolsby lines up as the eye back, and like a bulldozer clears a path to the goal line, and Kansas State now leads 26-6.
K-State built the lead to 24 on Martin Grammatica's third field goal, and a couple of late Colorado touchdowns made this one look closer. It wasn't. K-State 37, Colorado 20, as the Cats complete a perfect 6-0 home season. K-State now boasts a 43-5-1 record at KSU Stadium in the 1990s, the 5th best home winning percentage in all of college football this decade. The Wildcats finished their run through the Big 12 Conference on November the 22nd in Ames, Iowa. A 28-3 win over the Cyclones gave K-State its 7th consecutive victory and their first 10-win regular season during the modern era. This day was all about individual accomplishments. Senior running back Mike Lawrence rushed for 102 yards to pass J.J. Smith and become the Wildcats' all-time leading rusher. Lawrence and Michael Bishop sparked the Wildcats to 2 touchdowns on their first 3 possessions. And the K-State defense was impressive again, becoming the only team this season to keep Iowa State's talented offense out of the end zone. The reward for K-State's 10-1 regular season mark was their 5th consecutive bowl game, Wildcats' 2nd straight major bowl bid, and their first ever berth in one of the prestigious Alliance Bowls. K-State's appearance in the 1997 Fiesta Bowl afforded the Wildcats the opportunity to make a statement to the rest of the nation. Facing Big East champion Syracuse, the Wildcats displayed their talent on a national stage for CBS like never before. Trailing 3-0 at the end of the first quarter, the Wildcats unleashed their passing attack to score touchdowns on their first 3 possessions of the second quarter. The Wildcats started their first drive of the second period from their own 24-yard line, and Michael Bishop connected on 3 straight passes to Justin Swift to move the Cats to the 24-yard line. An offsides penalty gave K-State 2nd and 1 from the 19.
Twins to the far side. Bishop with 1 back behind him. Rolls the pocket. Now back, sets, looks, throws a pass toward the end zone. Darnell McDonald leaps up, makes a catch. Touchdown, Kansas State! Darnell McDonald just out-leaped that quarterback, and the Wildcats have the lead 6-3 after the 19-yard pitch from Bishop to Darnell McDonald.
Michael Bishop rolled out to the two receiver side to the right side of the field. He was on the right hash mark when he threw a lofting pass back over to the left corner of the end zone, and Darnell McDonald was there to make the catch right in front of Phil Nash. It was kind of a jump ball. Both players had a chance for it, but Darnell McDonald of Kansas State is the guy who pulls it in, and K-State has their first lead of the ball game.
The Wildcat defense stuffed Syracuse and talented quarterback Donovan McNabb on the ensuing possession to give K-State outstanding field position in Syracuse territory. This time it was Bishop's legs that carried K-State to the end zone as the junior quarterback ripped the Orangemen with 3 big running plays, including this touchdown run.
I formation, Bishop play action fake back in the pocket. Now he's going to tuck it and run. 15, Michael to the 10, has a first down. Michael to the 5, Michael Bishop, touchdown, Kansas State. Michael Bishop in there from 12 yards out, and the Wildcats now lead 13-3.
K-State will run quarterback draws out of all different looks, all different formations, but they want to utilize the ability of Michael Bishop to be a great running back. Well, Greg, guess what? They've run a lot of play-action passes this game. That time he went through the whole play action, went back 9 yards, set up like he's going to throw, and then he ran. Mike Lawrence, who he faked to, went downfield as a running back, made a key block, and Michael Bishop just showed the speed to get outside after breaking through the line and turns it into a K-State touchdown run.
Trailing 14-3, Syracuse mounted an extended drive into K-State territory. But on second down from the Wildcat 38, Travis Oakes came up with the first of several big defensive plays that would swing the momentum back to the Purples.
McNabb under center, back to throw, sets, throws, pass up in the air, tipped and intercepted by Travis Oakes. Oakes at the 35, Oakes at the 40, covering up the football, and his submarine down at the 46-yard line. The ball got tipped up in the air, and Travis Oakes makes his second interception of the season, his first since the Ohio game.
K-State wasted little time in capitalizing on the turnover. 2 receptions by Darnell McDonald moved the ball to the Orangemen 30. And then 2 plays later, the Cats executed a tight end screen to perfection.
Bishop rolls the pocket to the near side, now turns, throws back the other way, pass caught by Justin Swift, 30, 25, Swift 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Kansas State! They throw it back the other way to Justin Swift. He goes in from 28 yards out, and the Cats now lead 20-3.
What a beautiful play by Kansas State. They rolled to the left, had the quarterback stop, and throw back to the tight end who lined up on the right side. Justin Swift just blocked for a quick second and then stood there. He caught the football and he went downfield. Jeremy Martin, K-State's right guard, makes a killer block out there for K-State to open up the hole. It should have been just the first down, but after Martin made his block, Justin Swift broke another tackle and took it all the way in for a K-State touchdown.
The touchdown, well, that's kind of funny because they called it and we didn't have enough time the first time, so we had to end up calling a timeout. And I was just in the huddle just hoping that they were going to call it again. And it came back in, and we all talked about what we were going to do. We got up there, and I caught the ball. There was only one guy there, and ended up Jeremy Martin came and crushed the guy, and I broke a couple tackles or 2 and got in the end zone.
The 21-3 lead was short-lived, however, as Syracuse showed why they captured the Big East title. They rallied for 12 points in the final minutes of the first half. A dominant second quarter performance by K-State lost its luster late in the half, but the Wildcats still took a 21-15 lead into the locker room. The Wildcat defense dominated the third quarter, holding the Orangemen to just 12 plays and 18 yards in the period. Quarterback Donovan McNabb completed just 1 pass in the quarter and was under pressure from a heavy K-State rush that recorded 2 sacks.
I formation behind McNabb, turns, play action fake, back in the pocket, being rushed, gets tripped up, goes down at the 21-yard line. It's a loss of 7 of the play. Jerome Evans there for Kansas State to trip him up.
That time K-State won the battle with the good coverage, so it's second down.
McNabb with a shotgun, rolls to the near side. K-State wasn't quite ready, but now they come after McNabb in the backfield, and they get him at the 35-yard line of Syracuse. Kansas State tracks him down as Darren Howard, who shot through there and brings down McNabb. Kansas State really wasn't set yet for coverage, but they chased down McNabb in the backfield. It's a huge loss on the play of 18 yards.
Howard's sack forced a Syracuse punt, and the Wildcats started the fourth quarter from their own 8-yard line and clinging to a 21-15 lead. After a first down gave K-State some breathing room, Bishop and McDonald hooked up to burn the Syracuse defense for a 77-yard touchdown.
Wins to the near side. Bishop will shift to the shotgun. Lawrence is in the backfield with him. They snap it back to Michael. Rolls the pocket to the near side, looking downfield. Throws a pass down for Darnell McDonald. Makes a catch at the 50, 40, 35-yard line, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Darnell McDonald. How in the world did he stay in bounds? He makes the touchdown catch for Kansas State. There is a flag at backup field, but I think this is going to be on Syracuse. I think that baby's going to stand up.
Well, we don't know yet. There's going to be a big conversation here. Both teams are talking a lot. They had a little contact downfield on the play. It was supposed to be a curl route. It wasn't there. So McDonald turned upfield, broke away. The ball was delivered perfectly about the 40-yard line, and then McDonald took it in and ran for a touchdown.
It's going to stand. That's going to be a penalty on Syracuse.
On the defense, penalty is declined. Touchdown is good.
77 yards on the play. It was holding on Syracuse. That's the way it looked from up here, that the defensive back knew that McDonald was sneaking back behind him and grabbed a hold of him. He goes 77 yards, and Kansas State leads 28-15 with 13:08 left in this game.
A field goal by Syracuse trimmed the lead to 28-18, and the Orangemen mounted one final threat midway through the fourth quarter.
First and 10 from the K-State 17. McNabb takes a snap. He's going to run with the football. McNabb to the 15. McNabb fumbles the football. K-State's got that football. K-State's got that football at the 13-yard line. It's Travis Oakes jumping on the ball. Nobody hit McNabb. He just dropped the ball, and K-State gets it. It's the second turnover of the day on Syracuse.
And this Syracuse team has been awesome at the turnover margin. They've been a +10 all year. They don't make too many of these mistakes, but this time McNabb, who was scrambling upfield, carrying the football with one hand, just dropped the football, and Travis Oakes alertly dove on the football before McNabb could get it back. Somehow K-State, for the 6th straight game, makes a turnover while the other team's in the red zone. The Wildcats have the football.
Just as they did in the first half, the Wildcats took advantage of the turnover 7 plays later.
Michael runs the option. Now he's going to step back in the pocket, looking downfield, guns the ball down to Darnell McDonald, wide open, 10-5, touchdown Kansas State. Bishop burns Syracuse. McDonald's 3rd touchdown catch of the day, and Kansas State leads 34-18 at the 41-yard touchdown strike.
Michael Bishop goes down the line a couple of steps like it's going to be an option to the right. Then he stops, drops back into the pocket, and looks downfield. Gavin Parise had run a post route. He had enticed the safety to follow him across the middle of the field, and because of it, Darnell McDonald, who ran straight down the field, was wide open about the 15-yard line. It only took a split second for the football to get to McDonald. To Bucky Jones, the strong safety, tried to recover and come over, but he couldn't before McDonald took it in for a Kansas State touchdown.
And the New Year's Eve celebration was on for the some 40,000 Wildcat fans who made the trek to Tempe. K-State closed out the year in style with a 35-18 victory over Syracuse in the Fiesta Bowl.
Well, this ball game is over. They're not going to be singing Old Lang Syne tonight. They're going to be singing Wildcat victory. Kansas State is the champions of the Fiesta Bowl. They have beaten Syracuse tonight 35-18. It's party time in Tempe.
I don't know if it'll ever really sink in. I think standing there at the end of the game when we knew we pretty much had it, the offense just had to go out there and get a first down and kind of run the clock out. I remember just sitting there in the stadium looking around at all the people that had come out, and you couldn't help it. Just tears were kind of rolling, and you just kind of caught up in the moment. I think it's really just hard to understand what you've done at this point, just because it's such a big deal to a lot of people, and you were out there doing it. Just seemed kind of like another game, just maybe a little different place and more people. But it's something I think over the years is just gonna hit me more and more each time.
Oakes was named the defensive MVP with his interception and fumble recovery, while the offensive MVP went to Michael Bishop, who threw for 317 yards and 4 touchdowns.
But to me, to be honest, it sunk into me like right after the game because I know I was glad to be there, but we didn't play for everything. You know what I mean? It's nice to play for the Fiesta Bowl, win it. But to me, I would be happy unless I won the national championship in Division I.
One of Bill Snyder's favorite lines is special players make special plays. And in 1997, K-State had a whole locker room full of special players. For the 6th year in a row, K-State had a player named First Team All-American. This time, it was junior place kicker Martin Gramatica, who earned consensus All-American honors and was the recipient of the Lou Groza Award, given annually to the nation's top collegiate kicker. It was a near flawless season for Gramatica as he connected on 19 of 20 field goals and became the school's all-time leading scorer. A defense that finished 4th in the nation in yards allowed was anchored by what many experts considered the nation's best linebacking core. Junior transfer Jeff Kelly was a unanimous first-team All-Big 12 selection and was voted the Defensive Newcomer of the Year by the conference coaches. Sophomore Mark Cimino, the Big 12's Defensive Freshman of the Year in 1996, turned in another spectacular season en route to first-team All-Conference honors. Fellow linebacker Travis Oakes displayed the heart of a Lion, overcoming numerous injuries and always in the right place at critical times. Oakes battled his way to second-team All-Conference honors. Offensively, the Wildcats operated behind the largest and quite possibly the best offensive line in school history. With a renewed focus on the running game, the Wildcats churned out their second highest rushing total in school history. Senior tackle Todd Weiner capped off a dominating career by earning second-team All-American honors from the Sporting News and was a first-team All-Conference selection. Fellow senior Kendall Jaycox, the league's most versatile lineman, triggered the Wildcat offense from his center position and also earned first-team All-Conference honors. Right tackle Ryan Young also had a standout season and was awarded with first-team All-League honors by the conference coaches. The catalyst for the explosive K-State offense was quarterback Michael Bishop, who was named the Big 12 Offensive Newcomer of the Year. He established a new conference record by averaging almost 20 yards per completion, and his ground attack resulted in a new K-State rushing record for quarterbacks, including 196 yards against Missouri. Bishop's versatility to run or pass was most obvious in the red zone, where the Wildcats converted 44 of a possible 45 scoring opportunities, including a remarkable 22 touchdowns. Beyond his physical talent, Bishop's biggest attribute was his unwavering will to win. His leadership and drive made everyone around him better. That same kind of desire was contagious on the defensive side of the ball, where nearly every starter earned some type of all-conference accolades. On defense, it all starts up front, and the Wildcats had one of the best front fours in the league, anchored by second-team all-conference tackle Jerome Evans. Defensive end Darren Howard continued his emergence as one of the nation's top pass rushers. Howard ranked third in the league and 11th nationally with 11 quarterback sacks and received second-team All-Big 12 honors. A virtually brand-new secondary carried on the K-State tradition by finishing 5th in the nation in pass defense and allowing just 4 touchdown passes the entire season. Senior corner Dimitri Denmark proved to be one of the best cover men in the business. He was named first-team All-Conference by one publication and received honorable mention honors from AP and the conference coaches. Safeties Lamar Chapman and Jared Cooper were the last line of defense, and they made sure K-State's end zone was closed on Saturdays. Both received second-team All-Big 12 mention, and Cooper was named second-team freshman All-America by the Football News. On special teams, return man David Allen finished 16th in the nation in punt returns and was a second-team All-Conference honoree. Punter James Garcia ranked 17th in the nation and was a third-team All-Conference selection. Also earning honorable mention All-Conference honors in 1997 were fullback Brian Goolsby, tight end Justin Swift, tight end Jarrett Grostadier, running back Eric Hickson, running back Mike Lawrence, wide receiver Darnell McDonald, defensive tackle Damian McIntosh, and kick returner Gerald Niesman. As we attempt to put the success of the 1997 team into proper perspective, most outside observers may look at the 97 season as the pinnacle of K-State's 5-year climb up the national ladder. After all, it was a season in which K-State won a school record 11 games. A season in which K-State cracked the top 10 for the 4th consecutive season. And a season in which K-State played in its 5th consecutive bowl game, including its first ever trip to an Alliance Bowl. No doubt, the 1997 team earned its right to be called the greatest team in Kansas State history. But for Bill Snyder and company, the real ascent is just beginning. The Wildcats returned 18 starters and many key special teams performers for 1998. Stay tuned. The quest continues, and the best is yet to come.